But I, being poor, have only my dreams. I have spread my dreams under your feet. Tread softly, for you tread on my dreams. It's part of a Yeats poem. I remember hearing it in the movie Equilibrium. And that movie, like many others, reminds me of the kind of situation we seem to be in this world now. It's strange to me how so few people seem to even realize how weird, how crazy the situation is. Remember the Gadsden flag, don't tread on me. Well, they've tread all over us. And they've tread on our dreams. Imagine everyone who doesn't already have everything together, or doesn't have a big fortune or some house they inherited or something they bought 20 years ago. Anybody who actually lives in the modern real world that, isn't sitting on a pretty penny, and I can kind of understand to some extent how people who are like older and already had some career, or they inherited some money, or they got some really good credit or connections and managed to make it for themselves. I could sort of halfway understand. I mean, how you could kind of ignore what's going on, right? Like, maybe I wouldn't have noticed as much how screwed up the world was if I was busy all the time with day to day stuff, and if I, came home to, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 above, acres of land, and back away from the road somehow, so you don't hear a bunch of loud traffic and people wandering around outside your house yelling and making noise and, all that crap. Or if I'd got a nice place years ago, somehow in the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, right? I could see somewhat. You get distracted, I imagine. I mean, how can you not get distracted? Not even take into account the levels of hypnosis, the pharmaceutical drugging, the constant steady stream of propaganda and distraction from television and entertainment industry. On top of that, if you're working a job on a regular basis, obviously you're going out at least 5 days a week, probably 8 hours a day, spending all your time, the vast majority of your time, just thinking about, I'm going to do this task. You work in a factory or something on the assembly line. All day long, you're just going, there's a can, grab the can, put the can here, grab another can, put that can here, move it here, You're just doing that all day long. Boom, like a robot, And then when you're done with that, you just probably zone out, drive home, turn on your TV, pump up the stereo, whatever. Go to sleep, wake up in the morning, do it all again. Watch funny cat videos on YouTube, whatever the hell. I get it, I guess. But what people don't seem to get, who already have everything fairly nice for themselves, so they're nice and comfortable, and they've been pretty well distracted. They don't seem to notice what's happening for, the rest of the people who aren't in their wonderful, affluent situation, is that a lot of people are in situations, this is just a little, kind of reality check here about the state of the world, right? Let me go over this again. I'm just gonna say basic things that I'd say are factual from what I know, and you can try to look in online statistics, or maybe you lived in some super duper expensive place when you were younger years ago, whatever. I'm telling you though, man, I'm not even 40 years old. still in my 30s. And when I was a kid, the cost of living when I was a kid versus today is has and during that has gone up minimum of 20-fold, and it's gone up, I would say, tenfold just within the last, say, 10 years or so. And we haven't even seen the effects of the levels of inflation. I mean, if you look at how much the debt was raised by the printing, issuing of all this currency with new bills, like, if you knew anything about the economy and things like that, why don't you find out about your FDIC and protection and see how that's doing nowadays, right? Find out about, I mean, do you not notice that, oh, I mean, say, okay, I could see, you see, like, if I'm a guy who owned a house, I bought a house back in the 80s or 90s or early 2000s for $20,000. And now my house is worth $500,000. Look at my smile. Look at how happy I am because my house is worth more money. No, 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 no. No. You see, that's called inflation. There's been like a artificial inflation versus artificial deflation at the same time happening. Well, they're doing a lot of maneuvering and fancy tactics to keep the whole bubble going as long as they can so they can milk it and milk you and milk all of us for everything we've got. And we're about there now. If you guys don't realize that, then you're, sucker born every minute, I guess. Recognize, right? I mean, let's look at some. I'll get slightly off topic here, like, right? Just a little etymology, right? Let's see. Well, for instance, I'm sorry. I hope I memorized this stuff correctly. It's been a while since I even thought about this stuff. I was gonna say mortgage, mort, root of mort, morte, death agreement, mortgage. Yeah, right. Television, tell live vision, tell live vision. Govern, govern to control. Mente, mentis, mind control. Government, mind control of the mind. Okay. You gotta understand something. The dollars that you think you own, the property that you think you own, if you have that, you're somebody who's more well-to-do. Your FDIC insurance is not going to protect you from bail-ins. Not really, no. Not in reality. And your deed or whatever title you have to your home or land or whatever, that is not that's not held in allodium. That's not true ownership property. That's why they can tax you, and that's why you gotta ask permission to build a shed and get everything approved and so on and so forth. That's why they can make up zoning regulations and mess with you over it, because the actual certificate of origin of the land and ownership is held by the Bureau of Land Management. See what I'm saying? But you don't understand that. It's not, they hold it in allodium. It's like under crown rule, basically. Now, and the same could be said even for your vehicles, for your cell phone. You notice if you look into like contracts, if you buy a modern laptop or a smartphone or something, if you actually read through it, you will find that basically, according to them, you do not own the phone. They do. That's why they won't want to let you work on it or let it be taken apart, so on and so forth. They get you to, they, force you by basically coercion because you have to use this device to agree to a bunch of terms of service that they regularly update, is what they call it, every time they feel like it. These little updates they force upon you, um, well, they'll make your property not work. They'll break it intentionally and tell you agree by coercion to be robbed more, spied on more, you know, consent to having more of your rights and privacy taken away from you. That's what happens, man. I mean, in case you hadn't noticed. And look, I mean, it is just freaking obscene. Absolutely obscene. We're talking, oh, you get a job, you got, oh, I make twice as much as I used to fucking 20, 30, 40 years ago. Oh, good for you. Too bad that, like, housing and everything else cost fucking, like, 20 times what it did. You know? Back in the day, even when I was a kid, again, under 40, if I wanted to get, like, 6 hamburgers and a large fry at basically takeout restaurant, Carl's, McDonald's, Burger King, yada, 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 it would have been about, and I'm not talking about deals and things like that, it would have been about $4 to $6, depending on the exact year. Now the same thing would be, if you're paying full price for each thing and not getting a deal, you're talking like $60 about, right? If you wanted to rent a house or say an apartment back then, and in reality, at least in the area I'm in, it would have been about $50 to $100 a month. $100 a month apartments and things like that were well into the early 2000s even. Now we're looking at 1,500 to $2,000 bare minimum, pretty much. And when I say apartment, I don't mean a bedroom in somebody's basement with 20 people living in the house and shared bathrooms and kitchen. I mean having your own freaking kitchen and your own bathroom and your own bedrooms and all that, big huge living room and all that. That's what I'm talking about when I say apartment, because that's what a freaking apartment is. you know like how they redefine things to me. It's like, well, it's kind of like the making of a slave. That Willie Lynch letter kind of applies to all of us. I mean, it's like they'll change the language around. For instance, how they got, well, like for instance, the word liberal actually, you know, derived from liber, meaning liberty, freedom. You know, classic liberals were like the founding fathers and people more libertarian oriented than them. Now it's said to mean the exact same thing. Gay meant happy. Now it means something entirely different. Talk about newspeak. George Orwell talked about that in 1984. Uh, there's all kinds of terms that sort of change here and there. You notice how over the years little other terms have changed. For instance, well, have you noticed how everything's kind of become authoritarian, openly authoritarian over time? I don't know how most people couldn't have noticed. Like, for instance, not that long ago, we had peace officers and public servants. And now we have authorities and officials and experts and enforcers. You see? Used to be protect and serve. Now it's do what we say or we'll kick your head in, basically. Pay up or we'll throw you, lock you up, steal your crap, wreck your life, you know. But yay, freedom, right? I'm just saying, it's the terminology has changed, hasn't it? It went from, hi, we're your representatives. We represent you. We work for you. How can we help you? We are here to help you. And now it's, we are here to help you as the authority. Kneel before our authority. Respect my authority. Screw you guys, I'm going home. Right? Just a very steady and a fairly rapid shift and very sort of opposite direction to was being portrayed in the past, right? And I mean, it should. I don't understand, even for someone who has a lot of money, how it could not bother you to an obscene fucking level that everything is now 10 times what it costed fucking 10 years ago, and 20 to 30 times or more what it cost 30 or 40 years ago, and so on and so forth. Maybe you own a lot of property, so you believe, even if you are an unsecured creditor at some banking institution or some other type of thing, investments, or you don't hold true allodial ownership of what you have, but you think you do because you don't understand the terms, then I mean, it should bother people. There's a lot of things. I mean, look at over the years how incrementally, like frog in a pot sort of thing, they've just taken one freedom away after another, after another, after another, and stripped them away, all in the name of protecting us from each other and protecting the children. Gotta protect the children. We're keeping you safe. We're protecting you. We're saving the environment, saving the earth. We're such lovely, wonderful people. Ooh, we're a big giant company that pollutes the earth, like pollutes the hell out of the earth. I know. We're gonna start a campaign. We'll put a fake Indian pretending to cry looking at litter on the side of the street. And then we'll have a recycling campaign, and we'll give you all special containers so that you can feel like you're saving the environment when you throw your recyclable trash in the recyclable bin. And then we'll send people with trucks around and take it to the other side of the dump and pile it in there, because it would cost more money to actually genuinely recycle it than it does to just pile it up with the rest of the garbage. But you don't know that. So you'll feel better about yourself and about what we're doing, pretending to save the environment that we're polluting the hell out of. Trust us. We're the experts. Or, you want to get into talk about big oil companies. Hi, this is your friendly, gigantic oil company. We like to dump millions of tons of oil and garbage and radiation into the oceans and pollute your skies and your food supply, etc., etc. But we love you. We are here to make sure that Earth is safe for future generations. And it's your fault. You, the little poor people, driving your little automobiles down the street, who are responsible for all of the pollution as we fly around in our giant jumbo jets. and pump massive amounts of pollution into the environment. But we're here to rescue the world from all the evils that you, the poor people, have done. Not us, because we are rescuing the world. Look how helpful. And people fucking buy that shit, man. Come on. They totally buy it. Oh no. Yes. No, no, no. Forget about the carbon cycle, everyone. Forget about the existence of sunlight and the carbon cycle. Plants don't need sunlight. Wait. People and animals? Who needs oxygen? No. Plant life doesn't produce oxygen for the life on Earth. In fact, all life on Earth is bad and harmful to the environment. We've really got to lower that in order to save the planet, make it a better place for everyone who's not been exterminated by our, terrible tragedy if anything should happen to them, because we care so much about you, and we certainly wouldn't want there to be more resources for ourselves and our families when all of you end up being gone. Because we love you. We want to help you. Trust us. We're the experts. Trust us. We are your friendly neighborhood representatives. Now do as we say, because we're on your side. Get in the van, little kid. We've got puppies and candy in here. Trust us. We're your friends. Come here. Sit on my lap. Tell me what you want for Christmas. Would you like me to benefit what you want against whatever your neighbor wants? Oh, vote for this. Vote for that. Trust me, I'm on your side. We'll do what you want us to do. Screw your neighbor. You vote for me. I'll make sure that you have it better and everyone else has it worse. Ha ha ha. You'll get those nasty people that we set you against to hate. So remember, everyone, to hate everyone else. Distrust your neighbors, but trust us. We have shiny suits and fancy titles before our name. We're your friends. We're looking out for you. So, you buying this shit? Or, I keep pitching them, you keep missing them, son. Right? Come on. I'm just saying, it seems to me, for instance, just one thing that I've already mentioned before, that the cost of living going up 20, 30, 40, 50, fucking hundreds of times over the years seems to me like that's a little unfair, wouldn't you say? And that the disparity in what people make and the percentages that people get based on investment, so on and so forth, don't exactly really seem fair to the people who aren't already pretty darn rich. But, maybe that's just me imagining things. Just saying. Anyhow. I'd say don't tread on me, don't tread on us, but that ship has already sailed long ago, folks. And if you don't see that, then perhaps you need to update your prescription eyeglasses. Perhaps you're a bit short-sighted or perhaps nearsighted. It's a big club, and you're not in it. You and I are not in the big club. And most of you who think you're in the big club, you're not in it either. You just, you know, sit, boo-boo, sit. Good boy. Here, have a treat. Good boy. Good obedience. Yes, do as we tell you. Do as we tell you. Yes. Yes. Oh, are you feeling the benefits now? Oh, yes. Don't you feel so much better now that you have more comfort and we control your life entirely? Good boy. Do as you're told. Yeah. Anyone else notice, operant social conditioning, Pavlovian dog training that we're all under, since like birth, basically here? Like every facet of life. Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Really clear sign, clear indication that we're truly in charge of our own destiny here. If we just believe in fairy tales, they'll come true. Ooh. Believe in magic. La 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 la. Keep your head in the clouds and don't think about things that you won't even notice while they're screwing you. Awake. Shake dreams from your hair, my pretty child, my sweet one. Choose the day and choose the sign of your day, the day's divinity. First thing you see. A radiant parking lot. No. Thousands of homeless people everywhere surrounding you. Made so by massive amounts of inflation and debt slavery, wage slavery, basically chattel servitude. Not to mention authoritarianism. Have you noticed that, it starts little, like, put the frog in the pot, make sure he doesn't jump out, just turn the heat up real slow. We're going to say we're protecting the environment. We're going to get them to pay us extra money to throw away their so-called recyclables, we're just going to throw away anyways, right? And then we're going to get them to pay us extra money for the power bill because we're going to save the environment, crank the power bill way, way through the roof. But don't worry, we'll give you energy efficient bulbs that are less healthy for you and less efficient if you actually compare them to the old school original bulbs. More unnatural light, more radiation, things that aren't good for you and unhealthy for your sleep patterns and everything. Just install these in, and you can save the environment. Trust us. We are your friends. We control what light bulb you are allowed to have in your house now. Now we shall control what you are allowed to have as fuel in your vehicles. Now we shall control whether or not you are allowed to use wood fire to heat your home. Now we shall control whether or not you are allowed to have a barbecue stove. Now we shall tell you whether or not you are allowed to smoke cigarettes. Now, but don't worry, we are protecting you. We are your friends. Assimilate. Resistance is futile. Right? Everyone's like, yes, assimilate, assimilate. They are protecting us. Robot number 25379. Reporting for duty, sir. Wake up, people. Wake up.
Peace.